No one else is grabbing.
Different dog.
Ladies and gentlemen,
What about us?
your attention please, except for you. Hello, everybody. Even back there. Hello.
Hello.
Get ready to start. And can we have a moment of silence, please? This is our host, Genevieve. His birthday is next week. He's been doing drinking for 5 years. And she is going to get started right now.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty. I'm not used to being introduced, so that's something pretty cool. Last time you introduced me with like a microphone, and I felt really fancy. Very Right. Yeah, budget cuts, exactly. We had to. Alright, so everyone, welcome to the 54th Drinking Inc. Lots of those under the belt. There's a lot of new people, so I'm going to kind of go through some of the things that we do here. So I like to start off every month, I like to read a cowboy poem. I highly enjoy cowboy poetry. It was introduced to me when I was 12 or 13. I was down in Corpus Christi, and there was a poetry contest going on, and everybody that was reading poetry is a lot of poetry slam style kind of reading. And in walked these two tall, lanky cowboys. And we were at a place where like the drinks were called Shiva Goddess and Arjuna's, mocha or something. It was a very different kind of place. And these two cowboys walked in and calmly sat down, and they entered this poetry contest, and they read their stuff by memory, and it was the saddest stories I've ever heard, and they were smiling the whole time, and ended every poem with a bow of the hat, and they won the contest. But it was great, because they write, every poem that they write rhymes without fail, in the most simplistic, or in the simplest kind of way, and most of them are sad or very silly. So I decided this month, because since a couple of people wanted to bring up that my birthday is next week, I'm going to do what I want to do. So I'm going to bring on an oldie but a goodie of one that I read like 3 years ago. This is my, well, it's new to me. So it's new to everyone. You know this one. You know it now.
Price of marriage.
Yeah. All right, so this one is by a man named Carlos Ashley. He wrote it. It doesn't tell me when, so I don't know when he wrote it. But he wrote it at some point. So this is called Bob Sears' Chili Joint. Well, there's a smell about good chili that no poor poet can portray. It wafts a rare aroma where all the gentle breezes play. And of all exotic odors that the wings of time anoint, that none can match description with Bob Sears' chili joint. Now, it wasn't much to look at, just a hole there in the wall. No sign above the entrance, and no fancy front at all. A stranger couldn't find it, lest the wind was blowing just right. Then he couldn't hardly miss it, even on the darkest night. A dime would buy a bowlful of that wondrous bill of fare. A quarter got a milkshake, and another bowl to spare. It wasn't always fresh and clean by sanitation's letter, but somehow it improved with age, and day by day got better. Now I've eaten Anton's crepe Suzettes, a joy beyond compare. I've dined at old Delmonico's, where famed gourmets repair. But no chef has ever challenged the high gastronomic point that was mine in early childhood in Bob Sears' chili joint.
Yay!
This month's word is vivify. Which, for those who have never been here, every month we have a word that's kind of our theme of the month. So it's highly encouraged. It is not mandatory, but it is highly encouraged. Hi, Pamela. It is highly encouraged to try and create something that has to do with that word. Again, don't have to, but always encouraged. It's the next one. There is one. So the definition I have for vivify is to give life or to animate. So there's other definitions. So much that my father usually comes and he could not make it tonight. And I forgot to ask you. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. So he asked me to read. He has a letter to all of you. He was very sad that he couldn't make it. So he is asking me to read a letter, and he has more, but I'll talk to Jack about that in a little bit. Dear Inksters, I regret that I could not be with all of you tonight, sharing in your joy, wisdom, love, and friendship. But know that I am thinking of you all, even though I am certainly enjoying myself at this wonderful concert I'm attending tonight, which is going on at the exact moment. I've asked Genevieve to play 2 of this artist's songs, and I've attached lyrics to one of the songs. Her name is Babel Gilberto. He wrote the pronunciation for me. A wonderful Brazilian singer-songwriter composer whose music and words have moved me deeply. So, I wanted to share her music and words with all of you. She doesn't perform in the United States very often, and it's pretty rare that she is playing in San Antonio. The concert is sold out, a small theater, but still sold out. I can't think of a better example for the word vivify than to share Babel's music and words with you. Vivify, to give life to, enlighten, brighten. Yes, all of these are Babel's music, as you will hear for yourself. So I will bring up those songs later on, and I'll read those lyrics to you later on as that approaches. But I thought I'd read the letter that he had for everybody. To everyone. All right. I want to also go ahead. Michael, my husband, do you have my notes still? Did you lose it? No. You did?
Anybody have her notebook?
Did you leave it near the wine?
Well, somebody finds a notebook with a yellow cover on it.
Yellow.
Or just an open, large notebook. Yeah. Yeah, like permanent glasses. On there. Well, I'll throw that in a second. That's fine. Did we find it? No? Okay, that's fine. It's not a big deal. We'll pass it around in a second. Eventually, someone's going to pass to you our collaborative writing. That's going to happen, go on throughout the entire evening. Oh, you found it. It's going to happen around the entire evening. So what that's going to be is, whoever's going to start it, they can start it about anything. It can be as long as you want it to be, as short as you want it to be. And then the next person, they can choose to continue off where that person was, whatever that topic that person was writing about, or change it and do something completely different. And then I'll read it at the end of the night whenever everything's all done. That being said, who would like to start? Francesca?
Yeah, I
Okay.
weird so I was
Okay.
Yeah, weird.
Chicken. Those are the glasses. No. I have elaborate writing. That's right. Oh. That's what I was talking about. I was talking about. I can't, but I'm not very good. I'll let you know. Somebody else. Tommy. Jack? No. I'm talking about the collaborative writing, right? Who wants to start that? I don't have one either. What?
I've got a pen.
I've got a pen. Oh my God. Wendy, you better have it there to guide you and support you. Yes. Okay, thank you. All right. And then lastly of my little spiel up here before we get started, we're going to, right before we jump into the kind of open mic and open readings and everything, Łukasz, could you have something to share? Great. So he's going to start off. Łukasz is from, I'm going to tell him the story because I like to tell the story. Łukasz is from Poland, and he first started coming to Drinking probably 2 months after it first started. I think so. I think yeah, third or second month. And he came to it. He didn't, you know, of course, usually people come, they don't know what it's all about. I assume highly enjoyed it because you keep coming back. And he went, and then he came back, and so the next month, and he told me I wrote something, and I thought, great, I can't wait to hear it. He goes, no, this is the first thing I've ever written in English. So he had never written anything in English.
Except for emails.
Except for emails, yeah. So the first thing kind of writing in English, and so he read it, it was wonderful, and then after that, he had something else, and then a few months later, the thing he had to read was a sequel to something he had written previously, and so he always has these characters he comes back to, and so because he put so much time and effort into it, I always like to give him the first spot up here, so come on up.
So some of you guys probably remember last Reckoning's story about the witch. She was trying to capture the little baby, and the baby was one of my characters. She was very young, she was still a baby. Roxana, she has some special powers. She can create a halo around her head and want a persona to protect the world from the zombies. And some of you know those stories. And that witch, unfortunately, or fortunately actually, didn't succeed capturing the little baby Roxana. And now I'm going to tell a story from my head, because I didn't have time to write, about when Roxana was a fairly young witch. She was just starting, and then what happened, she had a very good childhood friend who was also a witch, and they were attending, I believe it was the first Sabbath, like first of their own Sabbath. It was about like 7,760 something Sabbath, annual Sabbath in general, and they wanted to do something in order to vivify the Sabbath, because it was a bunch of ugly, cranky, bitter witches, and they were just nasty. They were talking about nasty things, how to do nasty things to people, how to put spells on some great people in general. And the girls wanted to do something rebellious, and they came up with the idea to vivify the place. So let's see if that is gonna play really well. So they decided that they should play some music. It was during the 80s. It was in the 80s. So they decided that we have to. So they decided to vivify the place. And that's what happened. That's what happened. They put together some speakers, some amplifiers and stuff, and they found some good cassette player, and they played it.
She's 3 layers of fur. It's a husky. Does that bother you?
I'm not following him.
Very nice.
So
Come on, man.
they had fun for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then the witches bitches, they kind of to really hate it. Like, how come someone would like to vivify this beautiful Sabbath when everyone's so beautifully cranky and upset and ugly? So this is also like an answer to why do we know witches to be so nasty?
Oh, yeah, no, I get it.
Because if there's a witch who wants to be a pleasant witch, wants to be a pretty witch, wants to put some fun into the walls, plays, for example, music during the Sabbath, the other witches, they would just simply shut it down and put a nasty spell on those who want to purify the place. That's why that's why Gertruda Iceball Poppen is so nasty, ugly, and stinky right now, because they put a spell on it. That's how it ends. Like, there's no hope in this world. Yeah. I mean, she put out her heart with her friend, but they shut her down. And
I have a question.
yes.
What's her name? What's the evil witch?
Exactly, Gertruda Iceball Poppen.
Okay. I'll remember that forever.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Can we see your belly button?
Your wish is my command.
Oh, your witch is my command. Your witch is my command. My spirit, she said there.
Did somebody put a spell on you for dancing so long?
I wish someone put a spell on me so I could do it.
One more time.
So just ended in horrible despair.
Yep, yes, just
Yeah. You know, I purposely pick words that are not light and cheery, and he always brings it down every time. And then if I made them dark, like the word was bereave, and everybody had a party that day. You all had these light, funny stories. I guess that's what I have to do. All right, who would like to go after Lucas's dance move? Tom, you got something?
Magic Jack, yep.
And Magic Jack, come on up.
There are those of you who are solar powered. More often, some of you are limited powered. Pink Floyd, the dark side. Some people are in love with books, music, opera, ballet, whatever it may be. But there are those amongst you who embody the very life essence itself. And I do not speak of a fictional demographic outside of the F1. I'm talking about the people in this room who tend to embody the very word vivify. Conjure up Zilda the Greek when he says, life, undo your belt and go out and look for trouble. And that's what we do. Bottom line is, if you don't seek life, life will seek you. Pablo Neruda said, poetry sought me out, I wasn't ready. Poetry said my secret name, and I had to dance to the moon. This is what happens when poetry taps on your door and says, hey, it's me. You gotta come alive or else, you know what happens? You sit in your chair staring at someone else on the television's out there. Oh my God, look at that. Distance sets in. You start to be a consumer of the world's energies. Nothing coming from you. Educo, the Latin word for education, means to bring out from within. And every place in this room embodies the word vivify. Thank you for being here.
Go ahead and say that. Segue right in.
Oh,
good. I started to go, and you went.
please.
We have to determine the frog, and it's not a jacket. Yeah, that's right. You did it perfectly for him.
Wait a minute, you're not the host tonight. She's so used to being the host.
Inksters, I present.
Thank you. Viva! La la. Vivify. Vivify. Can you say that? Everybody say that. Vivify. Because that's not a word we use very much. When poets come to rant and rave of all their injustices that they've had to date, they cry and tell of cruel mothers that they've survived, or how their daddy whipped their innocent little hides. We also hear of lovers who were not true, boo-hoo, and all the things that they did and do. Sometimes they scream out loudly in rhyme. Others attempt to rap it out in beats of 4/4 time. The better ones add a bit of fun to a line, to make their tortured catharsis even more sublime. But I must stop here and lodge complaint because entertaining me, well, it just ain't. I'm sorry, I just need fresh air. Some poets suck the oxygen from me. The room is heavy now with dusty gloom. It's hard to breathe now in the room. Some leave to have a cigarette outdoors. Some find their feet are stuck to the floors. But a song well placed, I fixed this place. Something light and even goofy to bring a smile to the face. Something like a sing-along. Something like a la-la song. See what I did there? La-la-la-la-la-la-la. La-la-la-la-la-la-la. La-la-la-la-la-la. Repeat 3 times. You owe it to yourself to make it true. happiness puts the onus on you. Viva la la. Viva la la. Viva la la. Let us verify. In song. Los Angeles, please come on.
Yeah.
Or stay where you are.
Either or, I could do that, but the flower's coming with me.
Yeah, bring the flower.
Okay, come on up if you can.
Oh, yeah.
If you can. And if you know the song,
You're gonna go up with this?
I don't know yet.
There's no putting it down right now.
No way. Never put a flower down. Always pick her up.
Victoria. Hey, I know you know the song. I don't know why you're hiding back there.
Come on, man.
Dana.
Oh, wait, is that the
Dana?
That's the Dana.
Oh,
I will be the vocal point from back here.
Yeah.
Well, because it needs to be around.
Oh,
Your voice is so
Surround
strong
sound.
and vocal.
Exactly.
It's so strong.
And get everybody else in on it. Thanks for egging me on. I need that.
No, I've been waiting to
Be
be
Dana.
Be Dana.
Find a way, fly above your fears. Find a way to shrug off all your tears. Find a way to change the color blue. You owe it to yourself to make it true. You owe it to yourself to make it true. Here comes the hard part. La la la. We have a whistler in the room? I know we do. One for the kazoo, now let's do it. It's the other way.
We gotta do things the conventional way here tonight. We know that.
Way to go through.
They came from Hawaii now. Second verse, Dana.
Let some sunshine come into your heart. Let the love you once knew make a brand new start. Let a dream cloud shower you with love. Owe it to yourself to make it true. Owe it to yourself to make it true.
Everybody now.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Owe it to yourself to make it true. Owe it to yourself to make it true.
Yellow lilies melting in the sun, wrapped in blue skies, travelers having fun. Blue and yellow makes the greener you. How you create those two.
Go.
Jump in.
Do it.
Just wait, want to make sure it was the right time.
It's always good. Yeah.
When's the wrong?
It's all the name of it.
Vivify?
Vivify. Yes. Well, how did you guess?
Psychic.
Okay. Vivian was a strong woman who spent much of her life working for peace. She was surprised the day that a man walked up to her and drenched her with grease. She managed to escape, jump on a bus, and get home by dark. She was burning and miserable, but was happy to hear her dog bark. She went inside and jumped into bed, turning on a fan overhead. When morning arose, she did not move her head or toes. Her roommate came in to check on her. She was comatose. She wasn't dead, but she seemed like a mummy. Her daughter had married a Brit, and she always saw herself as a mummy. Mummy! That's me, I married a Brit. However, this time it wasn't about words. It was about thick grease from her head to her tummy. The roommate called a special neighbor to come over to check on her. His name was Franklin, and he had the ability to vivify folks with frankincense and myrrh. Franklin closed his eyes when he saw her. He shook all over and said, "Brrr." After 3 minutes of silence, he opened his eyes and got out his myrrh. Her roommate undressed her until she had no clothes. He spread myrrh all over Vivian, from the top of her head to the tip of her toes. She suddenly opened her eyes and smiled as she took a deep breath. She became very alive as Franklin yelled, "Vivify! Vivify! Vivify!" She grabbed a blanket to cover her body, jumped onto the floor, and began to sing. She danced, became animated, and all the clocks in the room went ding dong. Franklin reached into his pocket and took out a ring. He put it on his finger as though he was the king. All went well and even ended well. What else is there to tell?
Thank you, Brenda. All right. Teresa, did you have any idea?
Yeah, well, I got one about another naked woman. So.
Yes. Naked women.
There you
Yes,
go.
yes. Okay. And I didn't use the word.
That's, again,
But I think it knows the feeling. All right, this is called Purple Passion. I declared my newfound celibacy in an impulsively brazen way. I dyed my pubic hair purple. The track of hair that lined my clit remained black. As strange as it looked, it turned me on. Very counterproductive. My purple passion fueled me to move past the breakup with Todd, the know-it-all psych major. I'd walk down Franklin Street and send out strong purple energy with my secret purple pubes radiating my path. Of course, no one could really see them, but I was very aware down there. My celibatehood actually lasted for 2 months, but after an official declaration and dyed pubic hair, lingered only for 26 hours and 43 minutes longer. I've committed to things for much longer before, but my purple passion overwhelmed me. I feared that it would consume me or implode me. I've given up on sex, but not shopping for vintage clothes. Every purple thing caught my eye, especially some tripped-out old rockers, platform boots, and a fake leather boa. I knew they would match my purple short and curlies beautifully. I made a beeline to one of the changing rooms, stripped down to my black lacy bra, took off the matching panties, pulled on the boots, and draped the feather boa around my shoulders. Oh yeah, that was sexy. Far too sexy as I started tracing a figure 8 with my hips and undulating my arms to work the feather boa. For a hot second, I panicked that I was showing out in front of a two-way mirror. For a hotter second, I cocked my left leg on the mirror, showing off the full rainbow. Creamy mahogany thighs, downy purple pubes, thin black ring of pubes surrounding a rich salmon-colored clit. But the hottest second came when I started grinding myself. I'd never watched myself before. That novelty alone heightened my excitement. I'd just worked up a good hump when I moved a foot that rested on the mirror. It slipped, and I fell backwards in slow motion at an awkward angle, screaming. Even though my hands frantically floundered in the commotion, I couldn't quite catch hold onto the curtain. I finally landed on the floor, mostly on my right shoulder, a cloud of fake feathers fluttering down around me. Fortunately, my bare ass remained inside the changing room. I started to giggle before slowly rolling off my shoulder and onto my back. I faced an olive-skinned man with dark, penetrating eyes. "Are you all right?" he asked with a sexy foreign accent. Yeah. I sat up quickly, instinctively covering my boobs with my hands, even though I wore a bra. I think this thing came alive and started to attack me. I waved the feather boa. Yeah, that's why we have lay up odds in Germany. He replied with a very warm smile. "Boy," he said out his eyes. I gracefully slid back under the curtains without moving him. I quickly dressed and tried to calm down. I pretended not to look for him as I returned the boots, but not the feather boa. I needed at least one fun purple thing. I scouted a few of the racks that I checked out before, hoping to buy enough time to spot him again. Just when I'd given up and approached the cash register to pay for the feather boa, he joined me in line. "You're buying that dangerous thing?" "I must face my fears," I told him. He introduced himself as Alexander, a Turkish-German exchange student, and invited me to lunch. But honestly, pretty much everything after falling out of the changing room was extended foreplay. Oh, sure, we walked around a bit and had lunch and sat under a tree and discussed deep things that I can't quite remember right now because all I really focused on at the time was how his lips were perfectly full and formed, and how his thick, bushy black eyebrows added a mysterious flair to his eyes. And those eyelashes. Why do men always get the thick, long eyelashes? And women have to wear lots of makeup to achieve close to the same effect. We walked to the house where he rented a room. Lots of books, with a bed taking up most of the floor space. His German, English, Turkish, English, and German-Turkish dictionaries sat stacked in a neat pile on his desk, separate from the rest of his two haunting bookcases, full of mostly electrical engineering books written in one of those three languages. He had just closed the door before I was all over him. My purple passion burned very hot for him. Sensing that, Alexander made quick work of undressing me. He laughed and said something in Turkish, perhaps German, when he saw my purple passion and dove in tongue first. I know I'm nuts, but I wish I had a camera to capture the side of his olive-skinned face bent over my sea of bright purple pubes. What a techno-color contrast. Once he had me hot and juicy, he sat on the bed and I mounted him, wrapping my legs around him. "No, put your feet on my legs," he said. "How?" He spread my legs and put my feet on top of his sides so I was in a squatting position. "Hold on," he said, smiling. "What?" Next thing I know, Alexander stood up, causing me to hug him closer in order not to fall off. Then he started thrusting for all it's worth. Oh my God. I didn't know how that little guy found the strength to hold me up while putting it into overdrive, but I hung on for dear life. I just kept envisioning us falling over, hurting ourselves, needing the paramedics, and somehow the details making the newspaper. How would I explain to my parents about the purple pubic hair? He finally shot his load long after I thought he would and reclined on the bed. I kissed him before dismounting and leaving for the bathroom. I noticed my purple pubes on the bed and mixed in with his They were like my personal forget-me-not, a gentle reminder that I'd been there. In a strange way, I was proud of myself. I'd broken the curse. I left Alexander's suddenly both sane and liberated. We could throw in unified. He served as the perfect random sexual encounter I needed, passionate and fleeting, just like my purple fuse. Every now and again, I have to do something radical just to feel normal again. A couple of my friends told me their sexual fantasy, so I wrapped all of ours together and put it in there. I'm sending this to a contest. If we'll win, we'll split the money.
You know, the time that there were the sultry, that would have been really good too. Yeah. And also the AC was broken that day. Yeah. So actually maybe that wouldn't have been a good idea. There would have been more.
Everybody on.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Who would like to go next?
Someone preferably with a naked woman story.
Yeah, does anybody want to follow up the naked purple cube sexual encounter story?
Very exciting.
Purple.
Nudity, purple.
Adrian, German. Nobody wants to follow.
I'm not gonna take it.
Dana!
Yay!
Caffeine. Protein. Indeed. Vivify bodily systems once flagging, bringing hope and positive possibility to vibrate brightly in this present moment. Birds agreed in a sweet song, hallelujah, and off we go, down the road of promise, ever and now, solitude. Vivify the soul's glory. Among the thick springtime trees, bird song sweeter, the call, the breath, deeper, wiser than the clamor. Vivify together song of angels, tweet, eyes fall soft into the private domain, enriching, nourishing, to enliven, vivify your own Keisha.
Alright. Next, what's feeling?
Kobe!
I'm not saying anything.
You need to tell folks that that lovely lady right there is your mom.
Oh yeah, this is my mom.
No.
Yeah.
This is my mom. Just so everyone knows again.
Okay, so this is about someone I've talked about before. O-M-G. There is David. I didn't expect him to come to the game tonight. I thought he was working. I guess he switched or something. I'll have to find out. Oh, he is so beautiful. Just incredible. What a treat. What are you going to do, Sally? Just sit there? What? What are you talking about, Sabrina? Go over to him. Talk to him. What? Oh, no. No. I just couldn't do that. I knew you wouldn't. You are so pathetic. You never do anything. I just have to listen to you cooing over David again and again and nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm tired of being shut in here inside your stupid little head. I want out. Shut up. Shut up. No, you shut up. I'm sick of you. The only halfway interesting thing you do is make threats about slitting Lexi's throat. But I know you'll never do it. You are weak. Shut up. Stay back and leave me alone. No, Sally, it's my turn now. I'm coming out. I'm taking over. This is my life now, and I'm going to show you what it means to be alive.
Yeah! All right.
First I thought it was the old lady from last time. And then I realized, like, oh god, it's the crazy one. Thanks, Mom. I would like to follow that. Everybody want to go next? Right.
It's okay. Actually, there's one right here.
So I actually kind of had a hard time with this being because I'm not good with like happy things.
The big
so
ones
I,
are right.
You fit right in. Cool. So it's a little bit of a nervous. It's called animation of an action. What I would do to animate you, the dearest doll you still won't move. You stare away day after day, a mind where no thoughts go through. What if your skull was not so dull? What if there was a soul behind those eyes? My God, what words one might infer that you could tell if you were vivified. A simple observer with quiet fervor, recording each and every occurrence, remembering the smallest thing down to every last utterance. No one would suspect such a silent suspect. A fragile limb and perfectly painted face, they would very well let their secrets spill. In full confidence they spoke in a safe place. And there you would sit, having heard everything, having watched dreadful details unfold. Children beaten, people taken, but your sealed lips, these secrets never would have been told. They instead sit in your head, an empty space, empty place of porcelain. And all the scandals, all the betrayals in your memory for a long time away. What I would do to animate you so I could see what you've seen with your eyes, but you stay staring away day after day with no desire to be vivified. Are you content being silent? Do you feel that you have no part? After seeing such heinous scenes, staying quiet has become more of a part. But are you so content to remain silent? People cry out for help at your shining feet. I disapprove how your lips never moved. When it counted the most, silence was mostly sweet. Vivify your eyes, and your ears, and your mind, and your lips. You're not at all just a doll who has to watch in silence and sit. What I would do to animate you, but instead you choose an action, not voice. Thinking that doing nothing gives you no responsibility. Forgetting that you're an action. Is it still a choice? Yeah! I mean, Lucas's story ended in despair. That's so fair. Yeah, you're right. Despair. Yeah. But thank you. It was wonderful. Who would like to go next? Oh!
Alan Grandpa. Okay, this is her name. I'll read it anyway. On rusty trailer she did lay, decrepit, settling day by day. Fading, slipping towards the ground, until that day by me she's found. My dear old sailboat, what have they done? Where are your days of wind and fun? Yet through the rust, the grime and stench, I saw her twinkle, her beauty and strength. So home we crawled at meager pace, and gently set her in her place. Come sweat, come brawl, and hammer swing, I'll have her ready come this spring. Becoming one as months did pass, and task by task checked off so fast. On long hot days and steamy nights, she whispered, tire not, I'm worth your fight. And when I felt she can't be saved, I saw us dancing on waves. And when I thought she must be dead, I saw adventures lying ahead. So deep inside, she stoked my coals, a might and strength in me unfold. And on it went as months ran past, until that launch arrived at last. With friends aboard and sails up high, we cleared the jetties under blue skies, and crossed the bay in quite a chop. We clenched the tiller and did not stop. We tacked and jibed in ocean spray until we cleared that windy bay, and when we reached our port of call, 4 men stepped off, proud and tall. And so it went year after year. The joy she brought us is all so real.
my sons, my friends would all agree, she gave so richly upon that sea. Forget it not, those starry nights, or sunsets, orange, red, and bright, or dolphins jumping in our wake, begging us to come and play. I stop and think back to that time. She lay decrepit, full of grime. How lucky was I to pick that fight, which brought my ship into life.
Yeah. Bob claims that he just writes bad checks, so. Thanks, Bob. Pamela, you're waving at me.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
That's Bob.
It's Bob.
It's a true story. True
Where are
story.
you from, Bob?
Oz, over the rainbow.
No, no.
New Jersey.
Oh, Jersey. I recognize that.
Do you know Bruce
Jersey.
Okay.
We have someone from Rhode Island and someone from Jersey. I'm from Massachusetts. So.
Yay! Northeast.
Where your mother's from, Bob?
My father.
We all should have recognized the language, see? My glasses are broken. Okay, this is not mine, it's my husband's. I've never read Bear's work. But the sailing, he was a sailor, he loved sailing. So you help me.
Cool.
And I've not really read this, so. Anthropology and life to vivify. When I first explored the merits of vivify, I wandered off puzzled until I processed everything through my own head, at least all the unconscious shit stuff, because I'm into that. My puzzlement, please, my fake apologies all around for the jigsaw puzzle aficionado, derived from some old assumptions I had in my head, such as life can only come from life, life can't be generated out of nothing, evolution evolves into phases of higher life forms, complexity follows simplicity, effects follow consequences, and reactions follow stimuli, etc. Superintelligence is only capable of creating lower abstractions from a superior starting point. In my keenest way of processing, I wrote down some of my thoughts in order to place reason and logic behind my affections. After observations and then denoting then, I concluded that finite life can give life to others to have life. I wanted to ensure as much as possible that the research wasn't bogus, or did we have another child genius on our hands? He has the initials of Stephen Hawking. Old assumptions and belief systems die hard. Additionally, there is a theological undertow sweeping under our feet that may be a key to open up our metaphysical knowledge. That the concept of life may have multi-dimensional meaning of many gradations, a host of meanings in individual minds, and perhaps the most effective way to understand this concept is in an incremental way. Within the natural systems of all life birthing constituencies are there, evolving or finishing a cycle. It's kind of scary to get into my husband's head. Try not to! As much as I can. That's just a suggestion. Okay. A distant etymological cousin to vivify is the word vivisection. This is where a living animal is operated on while alive to remove some form of the body, close your ears, from medical research. Although this operation, this appellation, without any other contextual benchmarks, might make one physically or psychologically ill. And for that, I'm not sure they yet have to. Thinking of systems in which we live as a holistic organism found acting in an omni-time reaction, 24/7 operation, operating completely as interactively and independently. Here are some other areas one can look at for finite giving life to the finite. Finite life. Finite giving life to the finite. A cell divides life, birth, life. Sperm unites with an egg, life is born. A scattering barrage of atoms causing energy exchanges, some small, some large. The nutrients, vitamins of earth, soil, humus, water, fertilizer, giving off life and life in the natural systems blooms and grows. According to Webster's, there exist two denotive meanings for the
inspire another living being. Aspiring to live surrounded by more life-generating attributes as you can, aspiration leads to animation. To act, to move, to work, to play, to pray, to recreate, to create, since one may posit that some degree of an eternal lives in the solar plexus of each life and behavior, and that life can be seen as qualitative or as quantitative, respectively. This might be verbalized, I've got a good life, qualitatively, or speaking to someone in hospice, how much life do you think you have left, quantitatively. This life includes a place of coming and going, then one could conclude I am animated with life, a life that never totally ends, continuously in equal co-partnership with each party carrying their own responsibility for her life and for his. At the end of the day, as a choosing voice, identity, I choose, I ask, every qualitative life is a result of saying yes to life, again and again and over again. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I tried.
No. I was thinking of the way you were saying. It was like I bet he was rapping that in his head.
Yeah.
And your reactions to what you were reading were priceless.
Okay.
Yeah.
These two should have a dance off.
He keeps wanting me to. He keeps wanting me to go up there with him, and I'm afraid. I know.
So we have somebody who has only been here once emailed me a poem to read. Yes. So I'm going to read it. Who is it? His name is Steve Quakenbush. Yeah. And, you know, there he is. So I'll read this to you. It's called The Math of Vivify. The math, yeah. I am not into instant vivification. I prefer a more subtle elation. I feel uncomfortable if I brighten the room, although I am glad I could lighten the gloom. To vivify is not at odds with I. It simply is not my plan to try. What if I don't vivify? Then perhaps I will want to cry. Some days I might not want to try. I guess I will let vivify lie. For me, it's not to do or die. I've seen it happen when I don't even try. I like to be surprised when I vivify. Then you know it's not a lie. One need not be bigger than the room, nor does one need to be a buffoon. The spark is in the recognition. The vivification is born of familiar relation. The equation is a simple translation. I see you or you see me. The smiles come out unintentionally, a brightness that infects the room. This then chases away the gloom. Sorry, it was one little sentence. The vivification is born of a familial relation. Well, that was Steve, who I've met once, and then emailed me a poem, and that's the second time I ever heard from him.
Nice.
And I think he was here a year ago.
Wow.
So I thought that was really fun to read his poem he sent me. Who would like to go next?
Yay, Michael.
Michael! He does it all the time. I love it.
I'm pushing myself here.
No, let's
So, this is not my work, but there's a song that is one of my favorites, and this is part of a song cycle by Gustav Mahler called Songs of the Wayfarer.
Oh, yes.
This particular one is called Ging heute Morgen überspelt.
What?
Yeah. Which translates to I walked across the field this morning. And I'll read the English text and then a cappella I will sing German.
Yay!
So, and it is a very vivacious piece that twinges at the end into some sadness that you'll hear in the text and you will hear in the music. I walked across the fields this morning, dew still hung on every blade of grass. The merry finch spoke to me, "Hey, you, good morning." Hey, you! You! Isn't it becoming a fine world? Chirp, chirp, fair and sharp. How the world delights me. Also, the bluebells in the field merrily with good spirits tolled out to me with bells. Ding, ding. Their morning greeting. Isn't it becoming a fine world? Ding, ding, fair thing. How the world delights me. And then in the sunshine, the world suddenly began to glitter. Everything gained sound and color in the sunshine. Flower and bird, great and small. Good day. Is it not a fine world? Hey, isn't it? A fair world? Now will my happiness also begin? No, no. The happiness, the happiness for me can never bloom.
Wow.
Now I will transfer to the song part. You'll forgive me if my voice cracks.
No, forgive.
You're good. Well, you might, but okay. Ging heut Morgen übers Feld, Taunach auf den Gräsern hing, sprach zu mir der lustige Fink, ei du Geld. Guten Morgen, ei Geld, du wirst nicht eine schöne Welt. Sing, sing, schönes Ding, wie mir lockt die Welt, heida! Auch die Glockenblumenfeld hat mir Lust der guter Ding, mit den Glöcken klinge, kling. Ihren Morgen fällt, wir sind eine schöne Welt. Kling, kling, schönes Ding, wie mir noch die Welt gefällt. Heida! Und da flink im Sonnenschein gleich die Welt saß funkeln an. Alles kam und vergewann im Sonnenschein. Blum und Vogel groß und klein. Guten Tag, ist nicht eine schöne Welt, hei du Geld, schönes Welt. Nun fängt auch mein Glück voll an. Nun fängt auch mein Glück voll an. Nein, dass ich mein
Then you need a puppy.
Yeah, dogs love it. They're scared.
name's Kitty, and basically, I was going through a really hard time in high school, and so was she. And she had told me before I'd written this poem, she was telling me that she was like, hey, I actually have something serious I need to tell you. And I asked her what it was, and she said, you are one of the only people who can ever just reach in and pull me out of depression. And I actually kind of felt a little sad because she didn't realize that she did the same thing for me. So I wrote this poem about it. It's called Dear Best Friend, Did You Know? I wonder if you realized, if you caught it, that flicker of a second, did you see it when you laughed, right there? Do you see it? That flash of joyful almost mist in my eyes. Did you realize that laugh that brought you up was the oxygen tank to the sinking ship that has always been my life? Did you realize when I was saving you, you unknowingly were saving me? Amen.
Yes.
Not yet. Not yet.
Alright. Who'd like to go next?
Yes.
Tell your musician.
So I didn't kind of realize it was rubric. So it's not a song, it's a new instrument, so we'll give it
But my song's there.
Do you all sing in German? That's interesting. I followed some interesting expo. I followed a Gamelan orchestra, which was really interesting. And I also followed, used to go to the Whip Inn, and there was a belly dance troupe that used to come there into the open mic. Belly dancers and live. Oh, yeah.
So what I would just like to say, this fellow, this gentleman, this wonderful guy, who's tuning up right now,
Had a birthday.
I met, yes, he had a birthday. And give me a photo.
My mother had a birthday today.
So many. We're all I did?
Yes,
we
indeed.
So, I went to the Whip Inn on a request of someone who wanted some percussion.
Okay.
No, wait a minute, she was going to come. And you remember Linda that used to come to, Blackmore, who used to come to the,
She's living in San Marcos.
She needed you.
I haven't seen her in a year. She used to come to the Thai place. No,
Linda.
Thai.
Oh, yes, I bet you do.
Yeah. So she said, I'm going to be at the Whip Inn. Can you come down and do some chords while I do this? I said, sure. And then she introduced me to this fellow.
Yeah.
And then he got up and I said, oh, wow, I love this stuff. So I'm not going to tell you who it reminds me of.
The song's probably.
Okay. Then I don't know what it's going to remind me of. Anyway, we're also members of the Austin Songwriters Group, ASG. He writes his own music, he produces albums, and he lives in San Marcos.
Yep.
He's got a wonderful wife, Jen.
Yay.
Jo. And she's not here tonight, unfortunately.
And you have a wonderful guitar. Sit down.
This is actually a banjo.
A banjo.
I play Frankenstein instruments that don't look like banjos.
That's
This one I just got, it's called a banjo.
Here we go, Tracy. Tracy went.
Tracy, you're also not from Texas.
No, I'm not. No, I'm from Illinois, our way of Boston. I'm Austin. You grew up in Austin.
Jersey.
Yeah, so this instrument I just got yesterday. Yep. This is called Can Only Fly. Thinking about something involved maybe not vivisection, but vivification. Vivisection. Yeah. Why did you mention vivisection?
Yeah, my husband actually.
This is
All right.
She slipped into the shadow, vanished without a trace. She took her sins and her angel's wings. I keep waiting just in case, believing helplessly in hope. I remain in true love's dead, though she haunts my dreams. She hasn't come back yet. She can only fly when no one else can see. Never question questions why, how this came to be. To her it's not a miracle, just a possibility. She can only fly when no one else can see. Each day's a drop of water, each night's a grain of sand, longing never ceasing. It's not what I had planned, more than a pebble in my shoes. She's a stack of a million stones, 1 foot in the present and 1 foot in the unknown. She can only fly when no one else can see. Never questions why, how this came to be. To her it's not a miracle, just a possibility. She can only fly when no one else can see. Did she turn her back on the world before it turned its back on her? Does she know how much I care? I never will be sure. There's a very fine line between desire and my fear. When laughter crosses into pain, they both bring me to tears. Her memory still lingers, like yesterday's tomorrow. Remembering such happiness, imagining my sorrows. She can only fly when no one else can see. Never questions why, how this came to be. To her it's not a miracle, just a possibility. She can only fly when no one else can see. Yes, she can only fly when no one else can see.
James Taylor.
My other stuff sounds honestly, that's complicated.
I kind of heard Axl Rose.
Later I'll play one
Yeah.
that'll remind
I can hear the
me.
actual
Jack.
words, yeah.
It'll prove Jack. Which is a dangerous thing.
Would like Q&A?
How many people are left?
You need a victory.
Not many. I know one in particular is left.
Victory.
You need a victory. You need a victory.
I know there's definitely one left.
At least one.
Do your dad stuff.
Oh, it's just the lyrics to a song. I mean, I'll read it, but it's not
You're not gonna sing it in Brazilian, in Portuguese?
He has too much confidence in
Maybe
himself.
Michael can.
Yeah, he just translates and never reads. But I can read what I can read. I can read what my dad.
Been taking it well.
That's right. All right, so he wanted me to read the lyrics to he wanted also to play two songs to be played, but so I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna read the lyrics.
What's
for
that
you.
in music, do you know?
Brazilian.
Brazilian. She's the
That's
daughter
what
of
she's
the
describing.
She's baritone.
Oh my gosh.
So she sang Girlfriend You Can Eat for
Yeah.
holiday. And her father was probably the most famous Brazilian singer.
He doesn't even go into it. He's both Brazilian stuff.
Yeah.
Every moment I'm near you, I try to understand. Every second, I try to believe in how I am. In the silence of moonlight, I find myself and you. Just as always, I'm dreaming. I know you're dreaming too. And all the tears I've cried, or maybe drops of rain, draw. And every sunset sky is here with us forever now. When I sing, I remember everything that is good. Having been through a lot, I know what is pain. I never want to hide. Maybe I can even regret. Because then I thought people can be much more than a simple being. Don't have to try too hard. It's not a secret after all. Because every falling star here is here with us forever. Nice. I know I've got one, I know at least one more person. Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Come on.
She knows that I have something in this very particular picture inspired tonight's story, but I don't want to embarrass Lucas.
Not a chance. Did you see him?
Male character won't have a name.
Okay, sir. Give us a break. He's unembarrassable.
I'll see if I get the approval later. Pass it around. If you choose this life, he whispered in her ear from behind, one arm wrapped around her waist and the other clutching the cool metal frame below them, you will feel things not everyone gets to feel. The wind cracked itself around them. She shuddered with excitement, fear, arousal. They will vilify you, and it will vivify you. Why be mundane when you can be insane? His voice behind her, his arm around her waist, his message to her life, electrified her as much as looking down to where the ground waited, 20 stories below them, did. His charm, mixed with more than a pinch of debauchery, had convinced her to follow him up to the top of the crane while the winter night closed them. Thus far in her life, she had never felt more alive than on that first date with him. And it changed her life. Joanna snapped back from her reminiscing and looked back down at the iridescent sapphire necklace that reminded her of that fortuitous night's fresh sky. Yes, this would go nicely with her favorite date night attire. As she was considering if the crown of Augustus the Strong would be any fun, she heard a small thud to her left, followed by a fast rhythm of clacking footsteps. Their sound on the smooth marble floor of the museum let her know she was had. She slipped the necklace into her bag, swiftly broke the glass encasing Augustus's crown with a gloved punch, shoved it into her bag, and started running. She made much less noise than he did, each stride issuing a staccato click. Contrary to popular belief, she ran just as swiftly in her shiny black heels as she did in flat shoes. In fact, she believes she ran even faster because, well, when you look at doing something, you tend to do it better. She didn't have much time for more egotistical thoughts, though. He slipped past the archangel statue, turning sharply, less than 10 seconds after she did. He was gaining on her, and the increasingly loud sound of his footsteps and her heartbeat constantly reminded her of this. They sprinted down the hall of the gods, tore into the antechamber of ancient times, and without a millisecond of hesitation, Joanna swiped a hefty, pure gold scarab as she passed it and expertly slid it into her bag without losing a second of time in the chase. But despite her dexterity, he was gaining on her. She could clearly hear his sharp, paced breath as it overlaid hers. She looked back with wild eyes just before she hopped over the remains of a small dinosaur that was in her way. The impact of landing on her feet gave her the idea of quickly taking off her shoes and throwing them at her chaser. He sidestepped smoothly without even blinking, and she immediately knew that little move was a waste of beautiful shoes. The bare balls of her feet hitting the cold marble now, Joanna could feel the museum and the electricity of the moment more vividly. She could almost feel the heat radiating from his body now. He was so close. But she had 50 more meters to go, and then it was down the flight of grand entrance stairs until she was free out the glass doors.
into the cloak of the night. She was so close. But as she was approaching 25 meters remaining to the stairs, he firmly grabbed her wrist as it was swinging behind her. With her back still facing him, he pushed her onto the cold, smooth floor. Joanna gasped sharply from the jarring fact that she was captured and because she had her breath knocked out of her. She struggled to turn around and finally faced her captor, wild-eyed, and burst into laughter. Jacob kissed her passionately. "You need to practice so you can run faster, my love. I always catch you." Joanna looked up at him with sparkling eyes. "Has it ever occurred to you maybe I let you catch me?" Jacob smiled charmingly, and the devious pair, dressed in black, continued to make out for several minutes until they both, seemingly at the same time, remembered they were thieves lying on the floor of the museum they broke into. Joanna helped Jacob up and ran back to the dinosaur room to fetch her heels for her. He bent down charmingly to slip them on her feet, and then, after a few more kisses, husband and wife slipped out of the museum hand in hand.
We have one more person who's going to have a birthday in May.
What?
They can.
Are you another Taurus?
Another Taurus.
There are a lot of May birthdays in this room.
Yeah, for everybody who's had a birthday or is going to have a birthday in May, raise your hand. My mother.
A lot.
Do them.
So now it's off January and May. January was like 10.
Your mother's a lot.
My mother is a
Thank you, Adrian.
I love you.
I heard that somebody on the show. I was told to call you out, Nicholas. I'm sorry.
He's a saint.
All right.
Mom
That's right. I'll let Nicholas.
She wears such fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way it works.
You need a word?
Okay, so hi everybody, thank you for having me. So just to kind of give you an idea of what I do, thanks. I do what's called improv poetry, and what's so funny about actually is recently is I've been doing this only for about a year. I was going through a breakup, and I didn't tell you this, Tom.
No, you didn't.
Or you did. But I was a little drunk, and I was like, I'm gonna go for it at Wake the Dead, San Marcos. And so I just started doing that. And so what I do is I ask the audience for a word, and I think of a poem on the spot. We're doing Vivify, but to vindicate and validate that I can actually do that. Actually, I can actually do what I say I do. I'm gonna ask you guys for another word.
Esoteric.
That's really do in your 3-syllable sentence. Not 4. Okay.
Do you want another?
You asked for it.
Okay.
No one's ever stumped me as
Oh, okay. Now you give a mad clap.
That was one of the best ones.
Didn't even know about terror.
Alright, so here we go, yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna add Vivify and Magpie. Or Magpie. Esoteric. Okay. I can't use it. The wine glass is esoteric because it is limited. Only few lips touch that glass. In the vindication of the squeezed out grape that vivified and refined voluptuously, like the curvature of a beautiful woman. Like the curvature of a glass that goes down from circle to spin, filling me as I fill her, and I vivify her with the redness of my passion. I find that the grace is in each sip, as the red lipstick vivify, and the vivification comes from the ground and the earth that grows as dark as her hair, as it cascades down into the glass, and I drink her up. Finding now myself empty and esoteric because, as I said before, few lips will touch that glass. I found myself limitless in the vivification that she gives me, and a wine that we continue to drink from the vine of the valley.
Well done, well done.
Thank you. All right. I think that's everybody this time. Okay, so it is not officially over yet.
No.
Oh, well, bear with me.
There's more?
So it's not officially over yet because I still have to read the collaborative writing.
I haven't even written the collaborative.
Teresa still has to write. Nor has Luca. So if wherever it is, grab it and write in it. There are also lots of clay things to make sculptures with. So
Can we
come over here and pick a color.
like everybody?
You don't have to hold it up. Oh yeah, you want to display them?
No, just see what everybody did.
Yeah, no, I was gonna whenever after a while.
Oh,
on the table. Everyone can take a look at it. So yeah, if you've already done one, actually go ahead and put them on the table over here. So everybody can see.
Thank you.
Variety of things every time, like last time.
Okay.
Everybody takes photos. So I guess today is sculpture. Someone did a rose.
And there's plenty of clay, so please.
Play away.
Yeah, thank you. It's even titled this time. This is the first time it's ever been titled.
Woo!
What's the title?
Once Upon a Crime. Tom, sweet Tom, what I gotta do?
Okay.
True or fictional, it matters not. Gordian went out for a knot. Democles went out for a sword. Hubble went out for a telescope. Hobbits went out for a ring. One ring? No, a telephone. The ring was a magic ring, and while he journeyed, he found something he wanted, but he was afraid that he wanted this something so badly. That something was a magical wand. So magical it had the potential of killing his creativity. On the other hand, its power also had the potential to imbue the entire community with positive and radiant energy that would last for days on end. But which way would it go? The chariots of the gods rumbled overhead, rolling down close to the rooftops, moving the air, flashes. Lay low, my friends. Surely evil must be afoot tonight. The ring, yes, I can use the ring to protect us from the evil that lurks. So I put the ring on my stubby finger and disappeared. Could you do this voice for me?
No.
Because I can't do it.
Whose voice is it?
Precious, my precious.
Oh, I'll do it.
Someone has to do it.
Don't take my precious. Viv called. Viv called. Viv never called. People called Viv. But his phone was buzzing, and it read Viv in clear Helvetica type. Excuse me. He picked it up. Viv, what a surprise. What's up, love? There was a pause, and when she replied, he knew there was something terribly, awfully wrong. I need to meet you, now. Adrenaline shot through him. Viv never needed anything, ever. And there was no trace of her usual unflappable self-assurance. She sounded scared. He came alive and looked for his car keys. Once upon a crime, a heart was broken, then mended upon walking out without goodbye and grew into eternity. My criminal heart beats only for you. I go stronger by the idealization of you, so I can conveniently forget the spikes you drove through me, making me unique. My scars are my body art, my poetry. My heartbeat is a jazzy rhythm. Teardrops fall, and I have fell, And now it's time for my good spell of life and time to pass me by, washed away by yesterday. Happy birthday, summertime babies. Conceived, of course. Your souls are bright as the sun and vibrant as the moon.
Really? Good light.
Your hearts, full of summer light, soon relieve all gloom. For all summer children are loving and so brighter, they hold you through winter darkness and help you see the light.
And the dog is snorting.
The light from this candle I have, it's never been lit. An unlit candle, tall and quiet, here it sits. And you have a candle too, lit so many times before that it's just a stub of wick now, and nothing more. So you can use my candle. It needs some light, and so do we. But I'll burn the house down if I light it, so please light it for me. There is enough ink and earth to fill the camera of a blind man on a turn of direction to light and dark and burning paper. The wine and sounds fell into the perfect shape of words, not the perfect words, but words. Not the perfect camera, but images. Not the perfect eyes, but eyes without light, but earth. Something started in my soul, fever or forgotten wings, and I made my, something started in my soul, fever or forgotten, and I made my wings own way, deciphering that fire, and wrote the first faint line, faint without substance, pure nonsense, pure wisdom, of someone who knows nothing. And suddenly I saw the heavens unfastened and open.
Wow.
I love that part about.
You're the one. Okay.
Enough ink and that.
Okay. Before I close it, I just heard we have one more reader. Name's Mary.
Mary.
I left my
mom's
glasses in
name.
the car. I'm sorry I'm so late.
That's okay.
Yay,
you're here.
Yeah.
She must be right here.
Thank you. Where's our host? Thank you so much for having this.
Oh, yeah.
So I just follow Tom around. And I just meet the most interesting people. I ended up going to a conference on sex slaves because of some of the fact that was very meaningful. Something I wrote last night and I texted from my phone to myself, so the light helps sometimes. Someplace deeper than the mountains, someplace higher than the snow, someplace no earthly place knows. Where my love for you ends, I end. Where my hope for you ends, I end. Where I end, you begin. Forever, my beloved, forever. That infinity is not that far away with you. Our simple love of two, oh Julia, no nation can break our bonds. We love the world, the tree, the bird, the child with every wish of our bonds. Forever takes us gently into the future.
Oh.
If they don't know, Julia's a reference to 1984, Room 101.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Thank you. Perfect timing.
Next month's Drinking Ink is on June 14th, which is also Tom the World Poet's birthday. And it will be hosted at Tom's house.
Which is where?
Well, good question. I'm still looking for one. But by the time it's my birthday, I have to surprise myself. You'll get by the
Happy birthday to me.
email, GHI, whatever alphabet. That's exactly right.
And then just so everybody knows, June 14th is a Tuesday before what we normally do, because we normally do the third Tuesday of every month. But I thought it'd be nice to do it on Tom's birthday next month.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
It
do
could be my
Tuesday
birthday too.
On June 19th.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
And the word for next month
Is
Eldritch.
Yeah.
The definition I have is eerie, weird, spooky. Eldritch. Eldritch.
Challenging.
That one's for you, Tom.
It is Tuesday after.
Eldritch. Yes.
At your house, so we're gonna leave good vibes, don't worry.
And so it is the 14th. Word is Eldritch at Tom Roll Poet's home. It's also Teresa brought up a great point, which is the Tuesday after Writers Roulette, which is what Teresa hosts.
June 12th.
Yep.
And the theme is This Changes Everything.
Yes.
Ooh.
Wow.
At Malvern Books. And then I'll write it in an email. But my dad has a concert coming up.
Yeah.
It's June 11th. It's for his old band, his old punk band back in the day. So my dad had a punk band called Mannequin back in the day. It's a really funny story. I'll go ahead and tell it because I like this story a lot.
Sounds eldersy.
Yeah. And back when MySpace was the social network of its time, my dad received this message from a stranger saying, trying to get his attention, and my dad just kept ignoring this guy, and this guy persisted for a whole year, and finally my dad read his messages, and this guy said, I found your Mannequin album at Goodwill for 99 cents, and I can't stop listening to it. And so my dad started talking to this guy. This guy like tours around all over the world playing in bands. This guy is more successful than my dad ever hoped to be back then with this band, and he's crazy about it. So then my dad found all of this old Mannequin paraphernalia, all shirts and even records, and he brought this guy over, and the guy was like, I can sell these for you. And now people in England know who Mannequin is, and like they're all over the world, and so they're like DJs over there playing and everything. So then he sells them at Waterloo all the time. And the guy who works there, him and this other guy who've been contacting my dad, they approached my dad asking if they could get the Mannequin band together and play. But it's only my dad is the only remaining Mannequin member who would like to play. So, but he's the front man, so that works.
Wow.
So yeah, they're getting together and they've been rehearsing lately, and they have a show June 11th in San Antonio. I don't know where. I'm sorry. I'll find out and I'll email out details of that.
There's something really interesting about that thing that keeps bothering you that you ignore. It's like maybe you should listen to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, he kept. Oh, yeah. That guy kept bugging him, and then this guy, he's in these bands. I saw pictures of him playing live, and he's in front of thousands of people. He's in these stadiums, and this guy loves my dad's stuff, and my dad's like, I didn't do shit compared to you. So it's a cool moment for him. But and then I think they're trying to get a show in Austin as well, but it'll be in July, so they'll announce that. Yeah, very cool.
Well, if there's one in Austin, for sure, let us know.
Yeah, so I'll let you know if there is one, but I'll send out details in the big email.
Are you agreeable?
But it would just be great to go to a show in England. Well, thank you all for coming to the 54th Drinking. Jack was asked if we want to do a group picture. I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
So if everybody could come over in this area and face that way. We don't do that. What are you talking about? Group pictures? Here.